So hi, this is Prince of Discs 534.
And this is Ellie.
We're here to do a fun little video on who we think would make good couples in the tarot court cards. So to get us started, we thought of the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Wands.
The Knight of Swords and... Yes, right. The Knight of Swords and the Queen of Wands. So here's the Rider-Waite version I have here.
Mm-hmm.
So you have another visual.
Do you want to get us started?
Yeah. So I thought of this couple actually because, well, first of all, fire and air nourish each other. And they're both the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Wands are both very dynamic and energetic characters. So I think they make a fun, sexy couple, actually.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I would say the Queen of Wands is passionate and fiery, of course, because she's fire element. And, yeah, she's got that sexy feistiness. And then, I mean, he's clearly feisty as well and dynamic and got that fun impulsiveness. And I think knights in general are pretty sexy, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, even Henry agrees.
Clearly, I'm a knight. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that they're both good together. And actually, if we go according to the Golden Dawn Associations astrologically, Queen of Wands is
Aries.
generally Aries.
Yeah.
And Knight of Swords is Gemini. And I think personally, well, I'm a Gemini, and I find that I really get along with Aries, and I think they generally get along with each other pretty well. Of course, generally speaking, so.
Well, you seem to
Yeah.
get along with fire types. Overall,
Yes,
so.
yeah, including
So.
Sagittarians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think they're a fun, dynamic, sexy couple. Good times.
One more thing I'd like to add, I think the Queen of Wands has that element of a bit more stable compared to the Knight of Swords. So they kind of balance each other out in a way. So he would provide a bit more sort of excitement, and then she'll have this kind of more staying power. What's interesting is that they're both freedom lovers.
Yeah.
And they I think they'll get along well. They neither would be really possessive or like I don't know, restricting one another. They're, you know, it's like they're balancing each other's weaknesses, but also amplifying the strengths, essentially.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think that's it. Yeah.
All right, on to the next couple
Yeah.
that we've decided on. So I have chosen an interesting one. So before we've had fire and air, which complement each other. Now I'm considering this two water couples. Okay. I now find this interesting because there's a sharp contrast between the prince or the king of, in the Rider-Waite, the king of cups, who is, from my opinion, someone who's very sensitive, but at the same time is very rational, and those two sides are kind of at war with one another. And this guy, because he's so emotionally sensitive, he protects himself with his rationality and likes to suppress his emotions to an extent. And I think this is a good couple because the Princess of Cups, or the Page of Cups, she is a lot more comfortable in her own skin in terms of her sensitivity. She really owns it a lot more, and I think her emotional characteristics would actually help open him up, you know, and sort of soften his guard, essentially, and let him be who he really is, that intense, passionate, and emotional self. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
So.
Yeah, well put.
Yeah.
I think definitely the King of Cups definitely needs someone who can break through the barrier. Because he's all soft and mushy inside, but he's got that hard exterior. So whoever he's with needs to be someone who can pierce through that or break through that.
And I like to kind of point out, like, this sort of couple archetype is played quite a lot in sort of cinema and stories in general. You know, the gruff guy who, you know, puts on this tough guy attitude, and then there's this soft girl who's like hee hee hee, and you know, and makes him all mushy as well.
Can you think of a particular movie or two?
Oh, oof. Off the top of my head, or the alcohol doesn't help.
Too much Nero Diavola.
It must be. Yeah, I can't.
Okay. Anyway, we all know the storyline.
It happens so often. It's a cliche, but it's a very valid one, in my opinion. There must be.
Time up.
Sorry, yeah, time up. Fair enough.
Time's
Don't
up.
worry. I'm sure. I mean, if you guys can think of the story, leave a comment down below.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good one. And the final couple we're
All right.
considering,
So yeah, the Queen of Cups and the King of Pentacles.
or the Prince of Discs in the Thoth.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to
Yeah.
start us off?
Well, yeah, I think that the Queen of Cups is this really sensitive, nurturing, very feminine character, very motherly, of course. And then, yeah, there's the King of Pentacles, and to me, I think of him as being such a strong earth element, just very nurturing for her, which I think is good, and offers a lot of stability for her because, you know, she's watery.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not using any words, I'm just, if you catch my drift, so to speak.
And the good thing about this couple, I find, is that because the Prince of Discs, there's that social kind of fun element to him as well, which meshes well with her. Because the Queen of Cups, I find her interesting that she's really social, but she's one of those people who would always talk about you. She wouldn't really talk about herself, and so she's like an introverted social butterfly, I like to call her. And,
introverted social butterfly.
And I think they mesh well together. So because the Prince of This is a lot more sort of outwardly confident, and would sort of kind of take the lead in a way, and then have fun and stuff. And she's like, yeah, that's cool, you know. And she can bleed out her emotions to him, and he'd be like, you know, yeah, I can deal with that stuff.
And then, generally, right, water signs and earth signs are a good match, aren't they?
Yes.
The elements mesh well together that way.
I mean, it's also, because normally you would mesh the opposite signs together, in a way. But arguably, Taurus goes better with Cancer, because Capricorn, they're slightly too unemotional, outwardly at least, for the Cancerians, because they need a lot more emotional support. I think Taurians, they're sort of better at that than Virgo, or they're like the softer earth signs, even though they're the fixed ones, funnily enough. But the fact that they're ruled by Venus, so they understand emotions a bit better than the other two. You know, so...
Definitely more inclined towards beauty than the other earth signs. And that can appeal to the sensitivity of a Cancer or water signs in general, probably.
Generally, they're more fun. So,
Although I would say that polarities are interesting matches.
Yes.
And so the polar sign of Cancer is Capricorn. And generally I find that either you really get along with your polar sign or you really don't.
Because Capricorn would be like stability on steroids.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
You know, which is what Cancer kind of needs to open up her shell in a way. Although whether the Capricorn guy is in tune enough with his own emotions in order to sort of empathize with, at least outwardly, to the Queen of Cups is a different thing. You know. Yeah, that's all for today. So this is just an example of what this series would partake. I mean, if you guys would want to suggest any couples for us to sort of pick about, you know, that'd be good. We were just giving examples of what we think is. I mean, there's 16 court cards. There's so many combinations for us to do. It's just a few samples. But yeah, please leave a comment down below, and we'll go crazy and have fun with them.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is Prince of Discs 5384. My real name's Henry, if you wanted to know. This is Ellie.
And I'm Ellie.
Okay, yeah, we'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.